Hi guys, so for today's video I'm going to be doing an entire video on how to find your perfect foundation match, your foundation shade. So some of you guys may know that I actually already have a video on this topic and I've already talked about this. It actually is a super popular video and a lot of people really liked it and a lot of people mentioned that it really helped them. But I've actually been getting a couple inquiries on that video and on other videos from you guys asking me to do an updated version of that video. Pretty much most of my tips from that video are still the same. Now the reason why I wanted to do an updated version was to, one, hopefully I can kind of make this video a little shorter, and I also have just one or two little tips to add on, but pretty much for the most part this video is really similar to the one that I did previously, but I wanted to just kind of get an updated version at your guys' requests. So matching foundation is definitely something that is like the most important thing about your makeup, but also the most asked question that I get all the time. For me, it's super easy, and I feel like it's super easy just because I've come up with 2 simple steps on how to find the perfect foundation match. So the first thing you want to do is find out what your undertone is. So everyone has an undertone, whether you are cool tone, warm tone, or neutral. There's a little bit more than those 3. I believe like olive, golden, like you can go more in depth, but just to keep it super simple, a person is either neutral, warm, or cool. For someone who is cool tone, they are going to appear a little bit more on the pink side. For someone who is warm toned, their skin is going to be more yellow. And for someone who is neutral, you have a bit of both. So you have both pink and yellow in your skin. Now me, naturally, without self-tanner, I am a neutral shade. So I don't have too much pink and I don't have too much yellow. I'm both combined. But once I have my self-tanner on, I am definitely warm. So right now I am warm tone. I'm going to do a close-up on the screen for you guys of 2 different foundation tones. One of them is neutral and one of them is warm, and you will just be able to see right when you look at it which one's neutral and which one's warm. I actually don't own a cool tone foundation to share with you guys, so I only have a neutral and a warm, but the cool tone one would definitely be way more pink and would have literally no yellow whatsoever in it. There are a couple tips to figure out what your undertone is. Personally, for me, the best way is to literally just look at yourself. But I know some people aren't going to be good at kind of doing that. Like for me, I can look at someone and be like, you're warm, you're neutral, okay, you're cool. But I know that for some people, they kind of have a tough time distinguishing warm, neutral, cool. Like they just have a tough time determining that just off the top of their head. So there are a couple tips that you can use to figure that out. A good way to tell your undertone is the vein test. Even if you Google this, you'll figure out more info on it. But pretty much you can tell what undertone you are by looking at the color of your veins, like on the inside of your arm. If your veins are more blue purple, then you are more cool tone, which cool tone is pink. If your veins are more green, then you are more warm tone, which warm tone is more of a yellow skin tone. And if you can't tell, like if you look at your veins and you're like, it's kind of blue, but it's kind of green, kind of purple, like if it's a mixture of everything, then you're definitely neutral, which means that you have both cool pink and both warm yellow tones mixed in together. So my second step to figure out your foundation shade is making sure you know what shade range you are in. So when I say that, I mean everybody on a scale of 1 to 10 fits somewhere in there. Oftentimes when people are picking out their foundation shade, they will pick a shade that's too pale or they will pick a shade that's too dark. This is probably one of the steps that people mess up a lot. When I was working as a cosmetician and I would do people's makeup, a lot of people actually wanted to be paler than they were, so they would choose a paler foundation. I cannot stress enough how horrible it is to choose a shade that isn't your color. Like if you're trying to go paler or darker, do not do that. It honestly, I don't know how to say it any nicer than this. It just looks ridiculous. It looks so ridiculous. You will look 10 times more beautiful if you just choose your proper foundation shade range. So the different shades would pretty much be fair, light, medium, dark, and deep. Of course, in between there, some people might be fair to light or light to medium. That's just a generalization. Like personally for me, when I don't have self-tanner on, I would consider myself light. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm usually like a 2 to 3 in terms of light to darkness. But right now with my self-tanner, depending on how much self-tanner I use, I'm about a medium, like maybe light to medium skin tone. On a scale of 1 to 10, that would probably be more of a 4 to 5. I promise you guys, once you guys nail those 2 steps, literally choosing foundations will be so easy, especially when you can go to Sephora and on the website they have the description. So it'll say like light skin with yellow undertones and you'll be like, okay, that's me. It's so easy. You know what I mean? Once you determine those 2 things, you're set to go. Obviously, it's a little harder in the drugstore, but you can always swatch. So now we're gonna get on to a couple tips that I wanna give you guys. When you're searching for foundations, like if you're actually at the store swatching and everything like that, my favorite thing to do is swatch foundations and check them out. I know a lot of the times when we're swatching foundations, the initial thing that we do is take it and swatch it on our hand. And I love doing that regardless, not because it's going to help me match my foundation, but just because I like to see what the color is so I can distinguish, okay, this is too yellow, or okay, this is too pink. But if you actually want to see how it's going to look on you, you want to actually place that swatch on your neck, because you're actually going to want to match that foundation to your neck. So if you're getting that foundation and you're putting it on your neck and it matches perfectly, then you know that that is your shade. That's kind of another tip too that I feel like a lot of people don't know of, is that you definitely want to match your foundation to your neck and your chest. You do not want to match your foundation to your face. For example, me, I do not tan my face, so if I was to match to my face, I would be so pale up here and so dark down here. When I worked as a cosmetician, I had clients who had really dark faces, but their neck and their chest actually was more of a medium to dark skin tone. Like it wasn't nearly as dark. So I'm not going to go ahead and put a dark foundation on their face. I'm going to go ahead, put the same color foundation as their neck and chest is, put it on their face, and then voila, they're going to have a perfectly matched head to toe body. That's the #1 thing that I feel like a lot of people don't know, especially beginners. So that's why I say when you're in the store swatching and everything like that, make sure you go ahead and swatch it on your neck and you can see what matches perfectly. I still do like to swatch on my hand just for the fun of it, to see the shade and to see the color, but my hand is always way lighter than my body is, so I never completely match it to my hand, if that makes sense. Another thing too is you might want to make sure to try on the foundation in natural lighting, just because you will get the best look at how the colors actually are in true, real lighting. So that's pretty much it to finding your perfect foundation shade. Honestly guys, I know like finding foundation shades is like a huge nightmare for most people, but to be honest, for me it's so fun and so easy. So I wanted to share my easy tips and those 2 easy steps with you guys so that I can share the gift of pleasant foundation shade shopping, because it's actually fun once you know your shade. So if you did enjoy this video and you want me to do more how-to or like beginner friendly videos, like thumbs up this video and I will definitely do that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah. Hey guys, so for today's video I have a makeup tutorial, and it's something